What's up, guys? It's your boys, Awoki, back at it with another Chris Watts case. We're still diving in. I've been literally watching stuff all day long when it comes to the basement, the car, the secondary car that was in the parking, or not the parking lot, but the driveway where it was parked, because we saw taillights. I mean, I've gone down a whole spiral today, being off for Black Friday. I was supposed to go shopping, but instead I went on my Chris Watts and Nicole downward spiral of more information. With that being said, before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor, which you guys have been blowing up the numbers, and I can't thank you guys enough. Again, hopefully you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving day yesterday, but don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down the bottom right, hit that bell icon next to it, so I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that's Wookie myself has posted that video. Then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share, and again, thank you guys so very much for the continued love and support that all of you guys have been showing on this channel every single day. I can't thank you guys enough. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and we're on the road to 100K. And also, if you guys don't already know already, we're trying to get to 50K so I can give one of you lucky people a Meta Quest 3 virtual reality headset. And I'm giving 3 of them eventually when we get to 100K, but the first one is at 50K. Who doesn't want a free headset? But with that being said, we're getting into this video. Yes, you guys are probably wondering where the bar is. Well, the bar is no more. The bar is done. We're not doing the bar anymore. We are doing now this new bar that's low profile. More of you guys can see me, but we have another view, not that view, this view, where we're going to be getting more content here shortly. So I can't wait to see what the future holds. I mean, this thing goes all the way up, around. You guys can see we're going to be taking a look at everything when it comes to more content here soon. It doesn't do a very good justice angle for this because I'm at sideways here. I'm not actually that big, so I do apologize. But that is more stuff that's coming this way for more content. So that being said, let's get into this. We're going to be taking a look at a couple people's videos about the body cam footage when it comes to the dogs that have been alerting in the basement. I'm telling you this right now. I think, honestly, there's 100% that Nicole Kessinger was down there. 1, her car was seen there. 2, she has scratches on her face, actually, when she apparently possibly took the girls. Apparently, also, they're stating that CeCe was hiding in the basement. More coming to this. Things are coming unraveling and sort of like that, and it's getting ridiculously a little creepy, but we're going to take a look at it right now with you guys watching. So with that being said, let's get into the videos.
Oh, it's Michelle here.
So also make sure to also go to this female down here, Michelle After Dark. Go give her some love. She's almost to 100K. I want to give her some love too. So let's get into it.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well. So in my last video, I talked about the possibility that Chris put CeCe in a tub in the basement, but she woke back up. In this video, I want to take you through some dog cam footage and put a possible theory together as to what happened based on the dogs. I love dogs. I think they're great. They're absolutely superb creatures, and I trust dogs. So let's take a look
Can't
at what
deny.
those 2 dogs who checked the house were trying to tell us before the dogs are able to track
I say you can't deny a dog's nose. I'm telling you that right now. You can't. Nope.
any sense of the people who are missing. They have to, of course, establish what scent they're looking for. So they go through the house to find items that only Shanann, Bella and CeCe would have touched, that Chris wouldn't, so that they don't get any confusion.
I don't remember seeing this body camera footage. I've seen the first initial one, but this one I don't remember seeing.
As you'll see when Jane's dog comes in, he knows exactly what scents he's looking for. They do have some problems finding scents. I mean, obviously, you know, this is a family home, and Chris, you know, in all innocence, would have touched items that, you know, many items that Bella, CeCe and Shanann would have touched. So they do have some discussion about this. It does take quite a while, but they eventually find some appropriate items, so the dogs have
Dog sniff.
So let's now meet Jane's dog and let Jane tell you what he is actually looking for. I don't know this dog's name, so I'll just refer to him as he throughout.
It could mean a high intense fight. So it could mean several things because the body chemistry changes.
Sure.
On all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So Jane's dog, the Labrador, he is a trauma dog. When we're in trauma, we sweat and our body odor changes. So this Labrador is trained to look for scents from particular people, but who possibly have experienced trauma.
That's
Bear that in
nuts.
mind as we go through the house and listen to where he alerts, because he alerts in several places. You may have seen this body cam footage before, but I want you to kind of look at it with fresh eyes.
Okay.
With the potential of him being able to tell you
I have fresh
a lot of
eyes.
information.
Okay, so this is their bedroom and master bath, and then the girls' rooms.
Jane heads towards Bella's bedroom, and Officer Lines, whose body cam this is, she goes into the laundry room and she's just kind of looking at Bella and CeCe's clothes, taking photographs, etc. But then she's called back to Bella's room.
I'm in the laundry room.
Okay.
I mean, at least she's being really thorough on looking at everything. So apparently, so they're showing what they smelled of the. I'm guessing. Jeez.
What's that? Yep.
See if you can go in.
I don't mean to blow your guys' ears out.
Book under there. And a rock. Hello. Just a big book.
Dog is alerting like crazy.
Now see, this is a bed though, so scent will go down.
Okay.
Even if somebody's sleeping in
Oh,
there.
that was my glasses.
Now, did you get everything?
Yeah, do you want me to pull the book out? It's literally right here.
Oh.
That's it?
Scent.
Uh-huh.
That's what he was showing me.
Okay, that's what it is. I'm going to step back in the laundry room for a second.
Okay.
You heard
Interesting.
Jane there say that scent falls to the ground, and they thought the storybook would have been the thing that the dog was alerting to. I would imagine that there could be, and this is my opinion only, could be a little more to that story. What if Bella heard what was going on between Chris and Shanann, and she was
hiding?
afraid? She was really, really afraid, and she went to hide in her room. Just imagine that. Or imagine Chris coming into her room and her being awake when he tried to suffocate her. Let's imagine that scenario as well. Because that dog
That's
most definitely
crazy.
was alerting in Bella's room.
Okay. I need to grab some photos.
That was a good boyfriend. So he knows the kid's dead already.
Perfect.
Jane says there that he knows the kid's scent already, which is really, really important when we consider the basement activity that we're going to see shortly.
You know, maybe I just old-fashioned. This almost seems like this place is a little bit too immaculate to be normal.
It's amazingly clean.
Shanann was a neat freak.
I do.
Janie's spot on, isn't she? She's very, very suspicious, and rightly so. And now Jane and her dog are searching CeCe's room.
They using that as like bed rails so that she doesn't roll out of the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the little one.
The little one?
Yeah.
Yep. Good idea there. Get that.
It seems like they're doing a pretty good, thorough job, but
He didn't do like he did before.
whoop.
Nope. So he knows.
Celeste was the smaller one, the CeCe. Bella was the older one.
See, some places he's a little bit more interested than other places.
Wonder where the used diapers are. Scent-wise.
Yeah, I don't know if they're scented or not. Those aren't used though.
No, but if there were, if they had like a
Uh-huh.
trash can or a pail, but
He got it. He's good.
get this case the right way.
Definitely some places are more interesting than others to him.
Yeah.
This is also the time where they started hearing voices too. The EVPs. Excuse me.
Now let's see, where did we get? Boy, this place like a maze, isn't it?
Yes. Lots of Jack and Jill going on.
You want to pay attention to that at all.
Is that another
The
closet?
dog only shows interest in CeCe's room, but not
Oh,
really alerting
shower.
as he was in Bella's room. I might speculate maybe that's because CeCe was asleep when Chris went in to suffocate her, so there wasn't actually any trauma as such. You know, she was unconscious very, very quickly, so the dog doesn't have as much scent to pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
Bear in mind, there is going to still be some scent that might confuse the dog slightly because this is a family home. But when we consider that this dog is specifically looking for trauma, then we've got to listen to him and say there was more indication of trauma in Bella's room than there was in CeCe's room.
See, I never knew that about dogs. I thought you just like let the dog smell it and it just went right to where it could go. I didn't realize it could tell the difference between certain scents, like when somebody is like panicking, somebody is scared, somebody is on. I mean, I never knew this until just now. That's why I mean these videos are always teaching us something, and including finding the location that possibly that the girls were in the basement, aka Chris, Shanann, and Nicole, because all the evidence is pointing that all the shindig and the fighting went on downstairs. The only reason why Chris went upstairs to go get upstairs is to go grab the blanket to wrap her up in, but we still didn't see her go out the front either. That's why my theory is that she went out the back through the window in the basement. That's why all these dogs are alerting in the basement. And he said something about there was things that happened in the basement. Apparently, there's another letter that went out that Nicole was there with him, but when they were sleeping, she went down there, and there was 12 other people down. They were doing seances down there. It's like, what the flip is happening in this whole story that we're finding out that Nicole had 12 different witches down. I'm telling you, this is getting even weirder and weirder. A dog is definitely excited. I do apologize if you guys' hearing is
But
getting killed.
I can't wait to get down to the basement because that's where the dog goes mad.
I can't wait to see what that dog does.
Okay, now is there anything else left up here?
Yep. I don't know what's in this closet. Husband and wife, room, and the master. And furnace.
But first, let's go to Shanann's room.
Does the dog do anything in there?
Let's turn that fan off. Yeah. Okay. Shh.
Dog keeps scaring me. That bed is massive. Holy cow. So there's clothes over there.
Here's a pair of her shorts. I don't know if they've been touched or moved.
Well, we're interested in seeing people that a sign of something that would be where either a physical took place or remnants of certainly said all over, but that's
Sure.
what
Dog.
he's supposed to be doing is something that is a trauma scene
Okay.
is what
That's what he does.
I'm looking at. More of that.
Okay.
Certainly downstairs when we first came in, that was interesting.
So the dog's not alerting into anything in there.
Place too. Is it clear? It is. Yep.
Hey. That they what?
Little bit of interest, but not much. Was Shanann asleep? We really do need to go to the basement, don't we?
Hey, come to the door. Perez, hanging up on you. Perez. Yeah, hang on just a second.
So Chris is outside right now.
That's the other track team. Okay. So this dog's looking more for trauma or heated areas. Those dogs are going to track the scent. So we may be able
That's
to.
I never knew that.
Have they started yet?
Somebody told me that two dogs should not be in there at the same time.
99. Who was it?
Just to be advised, I have an update in your call. RP has console information for you. Wants contact by phone to reference the call.
Copy advised. They're watching that back to PD anyway. Yeah, that's. There were multiple in there. That's why. Okay, that's why we asked. Okay. All right. Where are we heading?
Anything I need?
Nope. We got about 12 things going on this time.
Okay, here comes the basement. I think they honestly too had a bigger house than what they needed.
Katie started yet?
But again, that's not my
They have not.
rule to say. But
That's interesting.
things are gone through but not put away. Somebody said that in this bucket down in the bottom, there's an oxycodone bottle. Apparently it's at the bottom. Well, let's learn to something. See, what scares me is they're shaking because they don't know where the girls are still. And see, Shannon. So they're shaking the containers to see if there's somebody inside them. That's what's crazy. To see if there's dead weight in there.
Copy, break. Like an 85 dispatch.
There's the bottle.
Copy, 1238.
It's that bottle right there. And there's Chris's bed.
Go ahead, sir.
Then there's air currents.
1239.
Here, oh yeah, first. Because the fan's running in the. Okay. Wait.
He's alerting.
Hey.
Sorry, guys.
Interesting, because immediately.
Did they hide in there?
Quiet. Are you trying to tell me something? Just need a break. Here, check.
Something's upsetting us here.
Dog's going off like crazy. So I'm telling you, there's a lot more than about this basement than people realize.
Here, in this area.
Did they go hide underneath the stairs?
Something's upsetting him here.
Okay.
Because see, he's trying to tell me something. Kind of mark that. Although this is
What's that?
the stairs, so we can mark this area as an area of interest.
Okay.
Don't know why. See, he's getting pretty. That's of a trauma type.
Okay.
A trauma type.
Mark of the stairs, and there's a fan running there. So see all of that.
So interesting.
Either that
RP
or
with LBN trucking wanting to report their tractor trailer missing. It never arrived, and the driver's refusing to deliver possibly area. Okay, show me on the bike.
his nose is down to the ground a
1241.
lot here. You notice that? It's been up in the air. Here, calm down. Okay, I may have. There's some reason. Okay, maybe have or one of the others.
Could be what?
I'm telling you, it happened in the basement. All of it.
How much of a role will the furnace play on that?
Huh?
Will the furnace affect any of that?
Well,
Do I need to shut it off?
fan in there.
That's where Chris slept.
I think Jeff or one of them should come in here.
That's the window I think they took her out.
So this bed is definitely not made.
Somebody was in it.
Stuff on hangers, coats.
That intensity, see, he hasn't been that intensity.
There's a dead wasp on the bed, but
Not been that intensity. Yeah.
Isn't that
sleeping mask right here too.
isn't that Case? Isn't that the same one that Chris had or Shanann had?
There's a sleeping mask right there too.
Which why would a man I'm just saying, why would a man have a sleeping mask? I'm not saying anything gender related, but normally women would use the mask to get rid of cosmetic things and stuff like that. And it's purple. Shanann didn't sleep down here. Nicole? She's very into yoga, therapeutics, self-maintain.
Sure hasn't.
See, this may be her scent. Something has set him off.
Well, that's a night
How much you want to bet they all went out that window?
night sleep mask.
Something has set him off down in this area.
So I think Jane's hypothesis here is perhaps Shanann was sleeping in that bed and something traumatic.
I think it's Nicole.
And that's why the dog is alerting.
Why would Shanann sleep down here when she's got a bed upstairs, a beautiful bed? This was Chris's bed because he was separating himself from Shanann because he just was falling out of love for her, obviously. But this is where Nicole was too, because there's a sleeping mask. I don't know of a lot of guys using sleeping masks, but this one looks like one of those where it's open right here, so it like helps the facial area. I know my sisters used it. I can't remember what it's called, but they used it for like headaches and not wrinkles, but like marks, beauty marks. It's just to help you sleep better.
Around the bed area. But I don't think he is alerted to the bed area. His intensity is around the fridge area and where those tubs are near the fridge. Right. Who would imagine that a father would kill their daughter and try to stuff her body in a fridge or in a tub? No one. Not at this stage. This was the 14th of August when the police were still working on the premise that Shanann and the girls were missing persons. Of course, they were suspicious, but they weren't treating the house as a crime scene. They really weren't. They were offering Chris, lots of support. Although they were suspicious, they weren't dealing with this as a possible.
They should have put him
in the house at this stage.
To be honest, they should have taken him and put him on a 72-hour hold. And because when he went home, he could have done a whole bunch of cleaning up. Who knows what he could have done?
It's understandable that they might have thought Shanann was sleeping in that bed and something happened.
I don't think Shanann was in that bed.
Is in line with what Sherilyn Cadle said, that something happened around that fridge area. There's been lots of talk about that fridge over the last 2 years. I've heard all sorts of stories about what the dog might have been alerting to. But it's only a couple of days ago when Sherilyn Cadle talked about it that this idea of Chris putting CeCe in the fridge, that's the first time I'd heard it.
I've never heard of it.
Absolute sense as to why that dog, he knew Bella and CeCe's scent and he alerted there. He alerted big time. So let's imagine.
We did see a child walk or run outside of the truck. So at least we know one child was alive. But he did state that when he went to survey 319, is that's where he murdered the girls. He had already taken Shanann's life at the house, but again, it doesn't make sense why it would be over there alerting to those fridges and stuff like that. Did they run downstairs and hide? I mean, but something happened in this basement, and we need to get more of the evidence from Chris. Hook him up to another lie detector again. I mean, he's in prison. He's not going nowhere.
The scenario where Chris kills CeCe, but actually she's not dead, and he takes her down to the basement, and she wakes up. She wakes up as he's trying to put her little body in a fridge or in a tub. she wakes up, imagine the trauma that she'd experienced. You know, there's lots of scent. She would have been sweating a lot. You know, just the amount of trauma that little girl would have experienced in that spot. Perhaps that's what the dog is alerting to here.
It's a trauma
And
dog,
the
so
increased activity that the dog had in Bella's room, as I said, I'm speculating that Bella was very aware of what was going on and maybe went to hide.
I swear
or
that
something
case
like that.
is.
Officer Lines is concerned, and we're now going to see the other dog come in. Now, this dog is a cadaver dog.
Before they get going, just bring them down into this area and see. But just because he's so intense. Okay, okay, that's a good boy. Come here. Okay, sit down. With that fan going,
I just shut
it's
it off.
hard to tell where that scent's actually coming from.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll get him out.
Hey, can you send one of the canines down to the basement, please?
Let me get him out of here.
Yep, she's going to take her dog out, and we need to have one of them come in, and I'm going to stay in the basement and wait for them. So she's coming out right now. Big time. But we don't know what, so that's why we're going to have one of the others come in, because they have different skill sets.
I never knew that the
So
dogs
keep it
could
out, she's coming out,
scent trauma, and
all right?
that we put off different scents when you're in trauma.
So I don't want to interrupt you in your interview. Just have to ask again. You're 100% okay with the dog going in there, searching any part of the house. And again, this is just consensual.
I don't need to sign anything.
Feel free to say no if you want.
You're good.
He's probably cleaned everything.
Okay.
Nice to see Betty there. But this dog is a shepherd dog, and he is a cadaver dog. He's going to come in now. He's on his way.
Beautiful dog. Dog's like, I want to work. Let's do this. And just for Chris to be sitting there.
So it's just a different dog, essentially trying to do the same thing. You still okay with that dog going inside?
It's nuts that he just stands there, knowing that his daughters and Shanann are not here. They're somewhere else. I'm going to show you that he had more interest for the basement.
Basement! Basement!
We need directions. We don't know where basement is at. Oh, it's going to be over here. Right down over here. Yeah. Come on, downstairs. Yeah, looks like a big hole in there.
In the first initial body cam footage, Chris goes downstairs, like right away, like he's hiding, like uncovering stuff.
Yep.
Information from
Yep.
Janie did, and
Yep.
to give you a little bit better information.
Sounds good.
Oh, that dog's going right to work. It's alerting to the bed, isn't it? Oh. He's looking.
don't know. It's the only bed in the house that's unmade.
Because that morning, that's where it happened. I guarantee it. I bet my bottom dollar. Because men usually don't make the bed. It's just a statistic. Women make the bed. It's just a habit for them. Men, we don't do that. I don't know if I'm onto something or if you guys just think I'm blowing smoke, but I mean, I make the bed in my house, but when I remember, that is. Uh-oh. Why don't they get like something of Nicole's? Let the dog smell that and let the dog go in there. Wouldn't that be smart? See if Nicole Kessinger was in the house the morning of? I mean, why aren't they thinking of this stuff, man? Do a hairbrush. See if they spot something down here. Oh, I'm thinking smart. You can't tell me that wouldn't be a smart idea. It keeps going over there. The dog keeps alerting over there.
Do you need a flashlight?
Yeah, I'm just seeing what he's. So it's not doing his faint frontal, his trained frontal alert.
Okay.
So I would say there's no HRT stuff down here. He has a little interest here. Dex, come here, please.
Smart dog.
It may be worth looking at this map if things develop. I don't know. It's just kind of had a little bit of. Is this where Janie's dog had interest too? Or?
Very good. The opposite side, so bed area, and we actually shut off the furnace just to eliminate that. But it was from the other direction, right where those coolers were.
Okay.
So a lot of just refocus. So I don't know.
832, can you repeat
So
that?
if there was.
Yeah, if you're not tied up on something, you meet me out in Johnson's Corner.
Okay.
So they're thinking that there's no body,
Am I good to turn this back on?
Okay.
but there's trauma in certain locations. So this dog I presume is looking for them. The other dog was looking for what had happened, is what I'm guessing.
Revisiting right here. And the only thing. And there's a bag of rope and some tie downs and a whole bunch of paint cans.
So I'm pretty confident it would not be a body or parts.
If you heard that, he said he's confident that there's no body or parts being down there, which is absolutely the case. If my theory is correct, CeCe was alive when she was in the basement, and no one else who died went down there.
Still think.
But what happened next is really annoying because this dog did not search the house. Shanann died in the house. The cadaver dog could have proven that.
But I think we were good for now.
Did it work?
We will.
See, that's where a lot of people think that the police officers kind of like dropped the ball on this because they didn't search like as a crime scene is more just investigating, but not like tape and making sure nobody was in it. I still think with the people that were when they knew that the girls were gone, they let Chris go. They couldn't they didn't have any evidence, but couldn't you do like a 72-hour psychiatric hold on him and because he could have came home, cleaned up, bleached. I mean, even if he like murdered them that way, but he could have done some more stuff when it came to cleanup. So who knows? They're probably smelling the residual stuff left over from what he was cleaning.
Okay, perfect.
But I do want to know why there's a sleep face mask downstairs. And I don't see Chris using a face mask. I see Nicole using it.
Unless your counterparts have shared any information with you, I don't necessarily have anything.
Did she do the garage?
She has not done the garage. Okay. Garage should be this way.
Why didn't Officer Lines just say, could you just go and check upstairs? Because Jane's dog did alert upstairs. His intensity was lower than it was in the basement. You know, to cover all bases. Just while the dog is there, while the cadaver dog
Exactly.
is there, go and run him round upstairs. Why didn't they do that? This is another failure. I'm sorry. This is another failure.
She's exactly right.
Investigation. And then they say the house is fine. You know, it was the time of the Sermon on the Porch when the reporters were outside. Not surprised he started kind of smiling and smirking and was very smug, because if he was interviewed during this dog search, or better still, just after it, well, he thinks he's got away with it.
Exactly. She's on it.
He thinks he's beaten the sniffer dogs. Oh dear. In summary of my theory, what I reckon is he killed Shanann upstairs. Now,
Agreed.
whether he attempted to suffocate the girls before or after Shanann is somewhat of a moot point for me. But they woke back up. CeCe he thought was dead. He took her down to the basement. Maybe he had a plan of storing their bodies in a fridge until, you know, take them out and dispose of them.
I don't
in
think
some other
so.
way. He realised that maybe CeCe wasn't going to fit in the fridge, so he thought he'd put them in storage tubs. It beggars belief, and just saying this out loud makes me feel
Everything
physically
happened down
sick.
there.
But I'm suspecting that that's what the dogs were trying to tell us. The shepherd dog, I think his name was Dexter, was telling us no one died in the basement. But Dexter didn't have the opportunity to tell us if someone died somewhere else in the house. And Jane's dog was telling us that there was lots of trauma in that house. Very, very sad. Are these the things that Chris will take to his grave? And are these
Which he
the
did
things
say.
that the dogs were trying to tell us all along? Maybe the
So now there's more to this. There's a secondary part we're going to take a look at, which is Chris Watts on what really happened in the basement, which is a letter from Chris. So let's see what actually partaked.
We're good with the house. They don't need to go back in. Nope.
So here's where they're investigating. He's probably like, oh, I got away with it. The dogs didn't learn on nothing.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's Michelle here with another Chris Watts video. This is another video in my series where I go through the letters from Christopher from the book The Murders of Christopher Watts by Sherilyn Cadle. But I want to do it a little bit differently in that I just want to focus on one aspect of one letter. So this was a letter that was written by Chris to Sherilyn in June 2019. The letter is quite a long one, and he's talking a lot about scripture, but he's answering some questions. It seems that he's answering questions that Sherilyn has posed to him. So he's talked about the case and about the specific aspects of what happened on the 13th and the 14th of August 2018. Of course, if you've been following the case, you'll know that Nicole Atkinson, Shanann's
Bless her
friend,
soul.
a brilliant friend.
Yes.
Everybody needs a Nicole in their life.
Amen.
Poor Nicole, she's come under a lot of criticism recently by the foolish people who are trying to get Chris Watts a 35C and they're implicating Nicole Atkinson, not in terms of that she did the murders. I don't think even they have gone
No.
that far, but they're implicating her in lying to the police. So Nicole Atkinson expressed concern to the police and asked for a welfare check on the afternoon of the 13th of August 2018. And then events unfolded from there. So in this letter, Sherilyn has asked him about Nicole Atkinson and, importantly, his opinion on why one of the dogs alerted in the basement.
Ooh, okay.
So let me just read you the paragraph where he talks about Nicole Atkinson, simply to lay to rest that Chris believes Nicole in that she was just a good friend. So I'll read you that paragraph just to lay this to rest once and for all. You know, if these people who are trying to get Chris out of prison on some kind of
Just
technicality
stupid.
or other, don't use Nicole Atkinson. If you believe in what Chris says, well, you know, don't pick and choose the things that you want to believe in. That's
True.
exactly what you're doing. So he says, as far as Nicole Atkinson goes, I have nothing against her. She spent a lot of time with Shanann in something. Some of these words are missed off. I knew that Shanann was upset at me, probably told her about the marital problems. Thus, she didn't hear from Shanann the next day. So Nicole was with Shanann over that weekend. So from the 10th to the early hours of the 13th, they were in Arizona for a Thrive conference, a Lavelle conference. You can see from Shanann's text in the discovery about how upset she was. Her friends there were trying to console her and help her, support her. Good friends she had, good support network. So she probably told her about the marital problems because she didn't hear from Shanann the next day.
Mm-hmm.
She knew something was up, as she knew Shanann always answered her phone. Her actions at my house were one of a concerned friend who believes I had done something or caused my wife's depression over the weekend. She called the police to come, but a few minutes after they left to search the house, and the news crews came the day after. She was always nice to me when she came over, so I think that's, like I said, she's just a concerned friend. Can we listen to Chris on this one? Is Chris lying about this? Chris lies.
Why would he
so
say something
well.
nice about Nicole
It just comes naturally to him.
Atkinson?
Then
I should
you
say.
get to a point where perhaps you don't believe anything he says. Well, actually, I think the actions of Nicole Atkinson and Chris believing that she was a concerned friend, I think all of that checks out and adds up. So can we please leave Nicole Atkinson
I can't believe
alone?
that they're trying to
God's
attack
sake.
her.
Leave her alone.
Get
Nicole
ridiculous.
Kessinger can tell the police, leave Jim alone. Well, I'm telling you, leave Nicole Atkinson alone. She's a lovely person. But anyway, I want to focus on the basement. And Chris has something to say about this. Again, I think this is in response to Sherilyn asking him questions. I'd really like to see Sherilyn's letters. I'd like to see all of this put in context. But as of this moment, we haven't got those letters. Maybe Sherilyn could do another book with those letters.
They said maybe they felt the evil spirits that were in the house. That's why one reason I can come up with the dogs picked up anything in the...
So,
What the
regarding the basement, you say the canine dogs went crazy in one spot in the basement.
He's so
And
lying.
I can't think of a physical reason why.
Physical?
Okay.
Why would you say physical?
So, if you've seen my previous videos, I've got a couple of videos. One on did he hide CeCe in the basement. This is something that Sherilyn Cadle said in a recent interview, that he planned to hide CeCe's body like after he killed her in the basement, and he took her down to the basement and tried to put her in a tub or a tote. But she woke up. Do you know what? It's a horrible thing to think about, but I want to just be open to the possibility that that actually occurred. And the small bit of evidence we have on that is that Jane's trauma dog, the Labrador, I think his name was Cody, he did go crazy around the under the stairs area where there are some tubs, it's kind of the side of the basement where the stairs are, and the kind of a lot
Dog
of,
goes off like crazy.
Boxes and things in that area. And Cody went nuts. He was
So it's either like the child was underneath the stairs or in this like closet looking thing.
barking like you wouldn't believe. But
He
it was
barked over by
very
the
much
bed,
a
too.
controlled bark. It was the trained alert bark, not just a dog who's like in distress or is calling to his friends or something like that. It was the trained alert bark that a search and rescue dog would make. Cody's trained to search for specific body odors. So these are odors that might be in the air or that have kind of rested on items, but in certain areas it's stronger. Trauma dogs are search and rescue dogs, but one of the things they're trained for is to sniff out specific types of body odor.
See, I didn't know that.
When we're in distress, when we're excited, when our autonomic nervous system is basically ramped up and you're producing adrenaline, you're producing pheromones, and that comes out in your sweat, and you just sweat more as well. So the scents are going to be stronger in the areas where some kind of activity that has elicited this response from you has taken place. Now, you've got to bear in mind that the basement did have a furnace running. Jane expressed to Officer Lines that maybe scents are kind of moving and stuff, and he absolutely went mad. He also alerted upstairs, particularly in Bella's room. And it's such a shame that Jane actually said to Officer Lines that they should put a trauma tag here in the basement, which means, they should go in and forensically test that area.
Which they should have, and they
Would
didn't.
there have been anything there
The
that would
hell?
provide some more concrete evidence? I don't know, but we'd never know. We'll never know because the police didn't do their job properly. It's as simple as that. But Chris says he can't think of a physical reason why I went downstairs that morning to the basement to get some trash bags. He's speaking after the Wisconsin confession, which was in February of 2019. Officers Lee and Coda asked him what he was doing in the basement in that interview. There was a lot of activity in the basement. The Vivint system showed a lot of activity in the basement. This is what Tammy Lee actually said, and that he did a lot of steps. So what was he doing? He simply going down for trash bags is not going to create that level of activity. So it's speculated by other creators that there was more than one person in the basement. And that is possibly the case. That might be why the Vivint was going crazy, but we haven't seen the Vivint alerts. And because the basement wasn't forensically tested, we don't know if there's, DNA or fingerprints from other people that could then be investigated further. The police did not do their jobs properly. So Chris now can go with the line, he just went there for trash bags, because that's what he ended up telling them on the day. And it was like a story that he concocted. And if you listen back to that interview, the Wisconsin confession, and find that place where they talk about the basement, it's like he concocted, I must have gone down for
He
trash
said
bags.
we.
I can't remember, but I must have gone down for trash bags. That's a story after the fact. I don't believe he's telling the truth here.
Nope.
He could be. He could well be.
No,
But
we can't
because
trust
the
him.
police haven't released the Vivint, and they didn't forensically test, we don't know.
They dropped the ball.
Speculating. So he went down for trash bags, but that's it. I know dogs can see or feel things humans can't, so maybe they felt the evil spirits that were in the house. That's the only reason I can come up with why the dogs picked up anything in the basement. Evil spirits. He believes that there's evil spirits in the house. Now, I think he's been led somewhat by Cheryl in here, because she talks a lot, like her own opinion is there's some kind of dark force. And that comes out then in Chris's testimony. It's like he goes with a version, like there's truth in it, but he goes with a version that has been fed to him last. So does he really believe there's evil spirits in the house? I don't know. Maybe he really does believe that. But it's an easy out for him, isn't it? It's an easy out to say he was taken over by demonic forces, dark forces. and that there's evil spirits in the house that led him to do it. That is a get out of jail free card, except it won't get him out of jail. It gives him the easy explanation rather than digging
can't
deep
trust this
within
man
himself
whatsoever.
and actually telling the complete
Oh,
and
man.
utter truth. If I ever interviewed Chris, I would say, tell me what happened, and I'd keep my questions incredibly open. That's the way to interview someone.
Amen.
If you don't want to lead them. And unfortunately, I think every time Chris has been interviewed,
They've been
either
led
formally by the police or more informally, he's been able to give a version of the story where there is some truth, but it's what he's going to go with next. It's what he wants that person to believe. And he's led by them as well. Whoever interviews him next, whoever gets the opportunity to interview him next, please ask very vague,
about Nicole.
open-ended questions and get him to tell the story. Don't lead him in any way.
Amen.
That's just a bit of advice for anybody who might come across this video in the future. So I hope you enjoyed
this. Lady's
video.
on
I
to
really
on to stuff
going through these letters.
like
There's
me.
still quite a bit to get through. There's some really interesting pieces of information in them. So I'll continue this series. You seem to like it. People who watch my channel seem to like these letters.
You guys are loving it.
I'll carry on with those. I hope you're doing well. I've been Michelle, and I'll speak to you very soon in the next video.
Make sure you guys go give some love to Michelle for doing a great look at this. But this is what I've been saying this whole time, is the dogs alerted to something. Something huge went downstairs in the basement. I don't think it was necessarily the girls were murdered, but the girls were hiding and scared. Could they have urinated because they were scared? Could they have sweated a lot because they were scared? I mean, I really wish we had more to go off of Chris, but I still think they could have gave a sweatshirt of Nicole's and see if the dog alerted down there or anywhere in the house. I mean, there's so many things that they could have done to narrow it down more, and they didn't do it. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think when it comes to the basement. Do you think the murders took place there? Do you think the girls were down there? I think also, too, that they transported Shannon out through the window to people because you don't see him taking him out the front in the last video that I posted. We do see another car coming. That'll be in a different video. We actually see the backup car and so forth. But I wanted to see more about the dogs that have alerted in the basement, because we're not looking at the basement. We should be looking at the basement. And why there was a briefcase, or not briefcase, but a to-go case, or like a luggage. There was a luggage container down there with a glass or a face mask, and 90% of the time, I looked it up, 90% of the time, women are the ones that have this on. Men occasionally do it after the age of 50. So just throwing that out there. Chris was 33 when this happened. So Nicole, I guarantee, was using that because Shanann didn't do that. She had all the other patches and so on. And why would she be down in the basement? That was Chris's bed because they were having marital bed splits and sleeping separately. So again, why would Shanann be down there? Just saying. So let me know down in the comments if I'm onto something, if Michelle's onto something. Let us know. Subscribe to both channels. Give us some love. And then we'll see you guys in the next video. So keep it real, keep it safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we will see you guys next time.